It's Kevin with GatheringMagic.com here with another episode of the Rogues Alley. This is a Tooth and Nail update. Played Tooth and Nail quite a bit on this channel actually, but wanted to showcase it one more time because I really wanted to try out Oath of Nissa in this deck in conjunction with Nykthos Shrine of Nyx, giving this an alternate way for us to ramp up into the Tooth and Nail. So what we're going to run is I still like the Blood Moon package with the Tooth and Nail. It gives us a bit of a play versus a ton of other greedy based decks. Between Beast Withins and Blood Moons, it can lock people out of. Acidic Slime's also pretty good. Acidic Slime, you'll have the ability through Eternal Witnesses to bring back both Beast Withins and Acidic Slimes. So it's a way, especially it's like white control decks using Celestial Colonnades. It's a way to kind of lock them out with the non-basic lands turning into mountains. And there still is tons of greedy mana bases in the format. This is still, Eldrazi has not been banned quite yet, so Blood Moon is still a good strategy. We can go a second turn Blood Moon versus Eldrazi, and then we could also just ramp into a Tooth and Nail versus Tooth and Nail into Emrakul and a Xenagos versus Eldrazi. This isn't a bad matchup because the Eldrazi deck suffers from decks that don't want to interact with them. They do have Thought-Knot Seer, but besides Thought-Knot Seer or the incredible like first turn Eldrazi Temple and a second turn Eye of Ugin draws where they just flood out their entire hand, a deck like this can usually stabilize long enough to actually get the combo for Tooth and Nail. So if you've never seen the deck run, what you try to do is Tooth and Nail for Xenagos, God of Revels, and Emrakul, the Aeons Torn, and it gives him haste, so he becomes a 30-30 haste with Annihilator 6. Nothing can recover from that. And it's just a really powerful strategy, so you just need to go up to 7 mana. So everything in our deck is going to try to get us up to 7 mana. We have the Arbor Elves, which untap a forest, which we're running one of Stomping Grounds, a bunch of basic forests, and some fetch lands. Fetch lands are really just to get the Stomping Grounds for the Blood Moon in the sideboard. And the Nykthos Shrine of Nyx is going to be the other way to get up quickly. So Arbor Elf just untaps a forest, so you try to hook up a Utopia Sprawl and Overgrowth to a bunch of forests, and then you can untap it, and as soon as turn 3, you can actually get a Tooth and Nail. It's actually, you're capable of doing that in a ton of different ways through Garruk. Garruk can untap 2 lands, so if you have like an Overgrowth on one and a Utopia Sprawl on another, can untap those and just add a ton of mana. And we're running Courser of Kruphix because I think it's the best way to get value off of the Nykthos Shrine of Nyx. There's a couple of triple green cards. There is the Wistful Selkie, which is triple green, draw a card, which is decent. But I think that you get more value out of Eternal Witness and Courser of Kruphix with the Nykthos Shrine of Nyx than, like, Courser prevents you from having to draw too many lands, so it's kind of our card drawing engine, because a lot of these decks use, like, Harmonize as ways to get card advantage. We're going to do so through Courser and Eternal Witness, both that get double green for Nykthos Shrine of Nyx. The alternate way to lock people out, like I said with Blood Moon and Beast Within, is through the Primal Command, putting a non-creature permanent back on top of its library. And you can get Primal Command, again, as soon as turn 3. You can put a land back on top of their library and kind of lock them out that way. And I like to call it the Eternal Witness lock because you choose to put that on top of their library and then go grab an Eternal Witness. And then you cast the Eternal Witness, get back the Primal Command, and do it all over again. And by that point, through the Nykthos Shrine of Nyx, you have tons of mana. You just eventually need to draw into Tooth and Nail as a finisher, or just attacking in with Eternal Witnesses will get the job done within a few turns. Or Garruk, you just need to untap lands one time, and you can give all your creatures +3/+3 and trample. So that's another alternate way to pushing through a bunch of damage. So this is probably my favorite modern deck. I'm known for Soul Sisters, I think, is my go-to deck. Shred Red and Soul Sisters are more of my competitive decks that I run at tournaments. Tooth and Nail is probably my favorite deck to run. I just love the way it works because people think of it as an all-out combo, but you can really switch gears with this deck through the sideboard and actually hate out a lot of other combo decks or just play a value-based green deck through Thragtusk, Acidic Slimes, and the Garruk Primal Hunter in the sideboard. So if you go up against a deck where you know your combo is not going to work, you can switch gears to this sort of package. We do this through Eidolon of Blossoms, can gain us a ton of cards. So we have Oath of Nissas that are enchantments. We have Utopia Sprawls that are enchantments. We have the Courser of Kruphix, which are enchantments. And you just get a ton of value off of the Eidolon of Blossoms. So that's 12? 4, 8, 12, 13, 14 different enchantments in the deck. And Overgrowth. So yeah, that's even more. So we have 18 ways to draw cards off Eidolon of Blossoms. And it just becomes and it draws a card itself and adds that 2 devotion. Thragtusk and Scavenging Ooze come in versus hyper-aggressive decks. We do have the Primal Command that also has the option to gain a 7 life. Acidic Slime is just a nice little toolbox card. You can destroy any permanent, artifact, enchantment, or land. So that's ensnaring bridges or ghostly prisons if they're taken that way, or preventing you from like Torpor Orb, preventing from the enters the battlefield type effects. I guess it actually would shut down Acidic Slime, but there's a lot of ways that we can get around specific hate cards. And Acidic Slime is one of those ways through the toolbox through either Primal Command or Tooth and Nail. Some people are in Primeval Titan in this deck to go find an Nykthos Shrine of Nyx. I think that's actually a pretty decent strategy. I am just foregoing it for this one. It seems like if you can get up to 6 mana, you can get up to 7. And so I'd rather just go for Tooth and Nail at that point, or Primal Command to kind of set things up. But Primeval Titan is if you resolve it, you can go get Nykthos Shrine of Nyx in a forest, and usually at that point you'll have enough devotion and another engine to get up to your Emrakul. It's not unknown to just hardcast Emrakul in this deck. And alright, so back to the sideboard, we have Creeping Corrosion for Affinity. So that's kind of our one. You can run, since we're in red, we can run the Ancient Grudges for Affinity. Affinity is just going to be a rough matchup for us. I think the only way is to try to stabilize your Coursers and Eternal Witnesses and Acidic Slimes and just try to hold off the best you can for a Tooth and Nail. We can win games out of nowhere, though. Turn 3 can get a Tooth and Nail. A lot of times Affinity cannot race that, so keep that in mind. We'll go ahead and queue this up and see how well we do in a Modern League. This has been Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching.